Yeah, I'm just thinking about some of the videos Andy Jack has made recently. For everyone who doesn't remember, he was the guy who had the argument with Aaron Ra a while ago. He had a bit of a brief back and forth with him, and of course we all had a good laugh, didn't we? We were like, yeah, Aaron Ra pwned a creationist, and okay, yeah, fair enough. That's what Aaron's here to do. He's here to debunk creationism and so on. But yeah, Andy, as I understand it, is now no longer religious. I don't know if he's embraced the word atheist yet, but he has decided that religion is not for him. And good for you, Andy. I'm pleased to hear that. And I think he mentioned in one of his recent videos that one of the main motivators for him remaining religious was, of course, there's been tragedy in his family. He was hoping to see his father again and to see his son again. I think that's a big motivator, isn't it, for a lot of people for remaining religious. I think that's probably the main thing that keeps people in religion. The other one would be hadophobia, the fear of hell. I think that's the much more sinister one. That's the bad cop, whereas heaven is the good cop, isn't it? And I was just thinking about that. I think it's one of those things we need. I think for some people, if they've suffered tragedy in their family or in their, if one of their friends or whatever has died, I think we sort of need heaven, don't we? We need to have that idea of heaven being there, and I think this is much more of a motivator for people being religious than stupidity is. I think I don't subscribe at all to this idea that the religious are stupid. I really don't like it. It's not an argument I ever use. You see it all over the internet, calling the religious stupid. I don't really like it. Obviously there are certain stupid religious people, but there's also stupid non-religious people. I think in most areas of society you're going to find stupid people. You're also going to find intelligent people. But I think when we suffer a tragedy close to us, it's our rationality is far overridden by our emotions, isn't it? I think we feel like we've been cheated by life, and we expect life to reimburse us. We expect to be given a chance to see that person again, to see the person who's gone again. It just seems to make sense to us. It just seems like we've been shortchanged, and we want that back, don't we? We want what we've had taken from us to be reimbursed to us. So I think it's emotions, certainly, much more than any kind of stupidity or anything like that, that motivates us more to want religion to be true, to want its claims to be true. I think it's that need, isn't it? A hunger for heaven. I keep thinking of the song by Ronnie James Dio with that title, Hungry for Heaven. We just want it so badly. We just can't get our heads around the idea that it might not be real. For those of us, though, who haven't suffered, huge amounts of tragedy in our lives, who probably are likely to live a full life, and most people we know are probably likely to live a full life, for us, though, it's perhaps a bit easier to accept the idea of no afterlife. I think it's perhaps a bit easier. It's still difficult, I think, because we don't think about death too much. It's one of those things we try not to think about too much. I think if you ever have a conversation with someone about death, after a very short time they'll want to change the subject, because they just don't like to think about the fact that one day their self-awareness is going to end, their consciousness is going to end permanently. But I was saying that to Andy in the comments on his video. I think the one way we do live on, if there is anything that could be called an eternal life, it's we live on in the memories of people who knew us, and then of course we rely on them when they die to pass on their memories of us to other people. It becomes sort of like a copy of a copy. Or we live on in our creative works. If we've made a good YouTube video, for example, and that sticks around, that will be around for as long as YouTube's around. Even then, hopefully, if it's really good, someone will have kept a copy of it. And I think we sort of achieve this idea of digital immortality, don't we? So we can live on, I think, even more now in that sense, given that we have our creative works. If someone writes a nice piece of music, that person lives on in that music. Whatever they wanted to express in that music will be there for as long as that music is there. But obviously this kind of eternal life, this kind of afterlife, isn't the selfish kind of afterlife. We don't get to enjoy it ourselves. The only people who get to enjoy our afterlife in that respect are other people, the people who live on after we've gone. I suppose that's where I think I find that kind of afterlife much more, not necessarily appealing, but much more pure, if you like. It's a selfless kind of afterlife. We leave things behind for people. We leave bits of our personality behind for people. It could be in the wise words we share with them, or it could be anything, any lessons we taught people. We leave that behind. And I think that's the kind of eternal life that I believe in, or not eternal life, the afterlife I believe in. It's not a life as such. I was going to say though, I think for some people I've encountered, it's not a hunger for an afterlife, it's a greed. Some people just do not want to be told that they only get this much. They want more than their fair share. They want more, and the nastier, more vile of fundamentalists who I've encountered, the nastier of the religious, they just bratishly do not want to accept that they only get their fair share. They want more. So these people are in stark contrast to the people who've genuinely been shortchanged. People who've known someone who's died too young or died before their time. These are people who want to live way after their time. They want to live forever.